this is the new unit I'm going to be putting on my boat in the morning as soon as it gets light again. Okay, so this is a Pro 12, brand new, out of the box. Okay, so let me pull it out of plastic here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just do a quick inspection, make sure everything looks good. Okay, and no fingerprints yet, which is really good. So, okay. So flip it over, put your power cable in. Okay. All right, so what I've done is earlier, rather than 9, I had another 12 on my console. And what I did is I backed everything up exactly like I just showed you to this SD card here, okay? This is the micro SD card that contains my data, contains a bunch of other files as well, excuse me. So let's take this unit, okay, pull the cover off. These new units, the covers tend to be pretty tight. It's like if you grab it in the middle, it's a little easier. So, all right, so let's go back here. So now I got the cover off, all right? So with the cover off, what we're gonna do is power it up. Okay. You have to put, some of these newer units, you have to really push the power button down hard, okay? So now this unit's coming up. Let's see if I can get this to hold for you. There we go. Okay. All right, so we're gonna let it come up. All right, accept. All right, I'm not gonna register the units right now, and I don't wanna do an auto configuration right now. I'm just gonna cancel that. I'm gonna say not now. So now what I got is I got this unit set up. What I'm gonna do is open up the door. Okay, hopefully you can see that. The lighting's not so great. So I'm gonna put this chip in, and this is the one that I created earlier before I pulled the actual unit off the boat, because what I did is I already sold my old 12 that was on there, okay? So that's in there. So I hit the pages button. So now what I'm gonna do, okay, I'm gonna go to storage, okay? I'm gonna go to memory card top, which is what I have, okay? I'm gonna scroll down to, let me find the file here. First I wanna pull in the settings. And, okay, apparently this is not the file. It should look like it. There it is. Ping, ping, ping. Oh, here we go. Scroll down the bottom. All the settings files have the .set extension. So this unit here is going to be my console left. Okay. So I have the console left setting. So if I touch that, okay, I now am going to import it. Okay. You can see this is done back in January. Okay. I want to import the settings, and the display gets restarted. Okay. Boom. Now right now it's a little bit unknown because the Lowrance has changed the sonar settings and also the side imaging and downscan frequencies. But the basic key settings here, the screen layouts, I had a bunch of overlay data on this screen. My overlay data was all my engine data because my engine data is hooked on the NEMA bus. Okay, so now the unit's restarting. Comes back into Pro mode. Hit the accept, not now. Okay, so now you notice before we had nothing on this screen. Now I've got the time, I got my voltage supply. This is my fuel gallons, okay, speed over ground, all the economy stuff for the engine, the RPM, the engine temperature, water pressure, oil tanks. This is my trim level here. I've got my trolling motor set because I have a Ghost on my boat, and I have my engine set over here, which is the Evinrude, okay? So you notice all that stuff got put in there. So my keys over here, the first one here was my standby button, okay? So you notice that's there. I usually don't have, in this one I don't have anything configured because this screen generally runs just the map, okay? So now I'm happy with that. So let's go back and look at something. We have no waypoints in here. So now what I want to do, let's go to storage. Let's restore those waypoints that we just saved. Okay. and we'll go to the memory card top, okay? And I'm looking for, and I didn't name them as nice as what I showed you earlier. Some of them are, some of them aren't, okay? So actually it's right here, St. Lawrence post. Okay, this is generally after this end of a trip. I'll create a post set. So we do a touch on that. I want to import it. It's a GPX file. I do an import. We say yes. And we're done. And so now this unit is back to where my old unit was. So I'm ready to go. So now I should be able to then go into this waypoint screen. You'll see I have 1,528 waypoints, okay? And I have 5 trails. So now everything is there. So if you start looking at my data, well, we're not gonna really look at it, but I'll show you. We go over here to waypoints. You can now see I got all these waypoints here, okay? And I got all my icons and things like that. They're all preserved. So everything is here. So this is what you wanna do when you get a new unit. So in a summary, what you want to do is before you sell your boat or sell a unit, make sure you back up your waypoints, then you save the waypoints and the settings on the same micro SD card, okay? Then you want to delete everything off the unit, delete all, purge it, and then do a restore to factory settings on the unit itself, okay? Then what you're going to do, now that unit is cleaned up, power it off, put it, pack it away, give it, sell it, whatever, transfer the ownership there at that point. Now what you do is you get your new unit, okay? Take the micro SD card with the data on it, load your waypoints, load your settings back in. You're doing it in the reverse order. You do your settings first. Of course, we're in the house, it hasn't locked on yet. So basically, load your settings first, and then load your waypoints, and now you should have everything back to where you believe you are, okay? This unit has, we look at it, this, like I say, this is a pro version. You can see this is basically where I'm located. There's some maps here. We don't have a lot of detail for some of the local lakes, which is fine with me. I mean, I don't fish locally anyway. So I want to just check some stuff. More options. I had the options set. See, right now I have the source for Navionics because I had an Navionics chip in this unit originally. If we go and flip over to CMap on board, I should have maps. There's the maps, okay? So what I need to do now is that once I install this on the boat, okay, I want to put the Navionics chip back in here. I run, on my console, I run 2 units. I run a Navionics on one and I run the CMap on the other. It gives me a little bit of comparison. I've got more the ability to color up things on this. Okay, so that's the front end and the data of this unit. So now what I want to do is I want to turn it off. Okay. All right. Now you can turn it off with the card in there, or leave it, or take the card out while it's still running. Doesn't really matter, but just make sure you take this card out. And I personally will save it. If you notice, I had a whole bunch of other files on this one chip. What I do is I have a case for that, and the case is it's a Pelican case. You can easily get it from Amazon. This one holds basically the micros, the mid-size, and the full-size SD cards. Okay, so this is what I carry my stuff in. I have one for updates, I have one for maps, and I have one for strictly just my data. Okay, so now the next thing you want to do with these Pro units, okay, let's put the cover back on, because what I'm going to do is disconnect it from the power supply. Okay, I'm going to get it ready for my boat so I can again install it tomorrow. So I'm going to turn the power supply off on my test unit or test bench, unplug the power cord. So now what I want to do, and this is very important, hopefully you can see all that. I'll try to keep it here. What you want to do is any connector that is not being cabled to should be covered up, and the reason you need to cover it up is it will corrode. I've seen units where this, either the USB connector or especially the HDMI connector, will start turning green on you and corrode. So when it starts corroding, guess what? It's going to start shorting out. Now your unit's going to have issues. Put the covers on it, okay? I've seen too many units without those covers. They come in this bag, okay? This is the HDI or HDS 12 and 16 live with the paper bag. Okay, you won't have these two connectors, the USB and the HDMI, on the 9 and 10, but you will have it on the 12 and 16. So let's rip this bag open. Okay, let's dump out the bag and see what we got. Okay, so in the bag, this is what I'm interested in. Okay, and they shorted me, and they certainly did. Okay, we got basically enough connectors to fill everything except one port over here. Okay, so this little cover is your USB connect cover. Push it down, rotate it, should feel a click. That's done. Okay, this one, push it down, click. Okay, this one I know is going to have one network connection because I'm running a network hub on my boat, so I cover up one of my network ports. Okay, when you push these on, just push them down. You can kind of burp them a little bit. Okay, I'm not running a NEMA bus because, again, I showed you my engine data on this unit. That's where the engine data is coming. So on this unit, I'm going to have both of these. Now, this is my left console unit. When Ranger configured my boat, they actually put two sonar transducers in the hull. And those transducers, what I do is I run them on different units. So I know that I'm going to have power, I'm going to have the Ethernet, and I'm going to have the sonar. Okay, 9-pin sonar. I'm not going to have side imaging on this unit because what I'll do is I'll network it from the right console unit. Okay, so there's the bigger connector here, which is this one here. So I'm going to push that on the bottom. These are a little hard at times to get on. And what I typically have to do is spin it around a little bit and then push it on the side, and eventually you'll get it on there. There we go. Okay, so again, give it a little burp, make sure it's pushed all the way down firm. So again, these units going to be in the wind a little bit. So that's what your completed, ready to install unit looks like. You got covers on everything you're not going to plug into. Okay, you got to protect these units. They're expensive, you know. So that's the final. So now my new unit is ready to go in the boat. It'll go in the boat in the morning. Okay. And the reason that I have that plug on the side imaging port is obviously I don't have something plugged into it, but because that's exposed, it's exposed to the road when I'm pulling this thing down the road, and it's also exposed on the water to lots of dirt, grit, and other items, water and waves as well. That way it completely covers up the connector, helps preserve the unit. So that's the full set of the plugs I use. Okay, here's the unit sitting on the console here. Here's the right unit, still strapped up. Just so you know, I use a Velcro strap around the cover there. That way I can travel with it, not worry about it falling off. Okay, I learned that from a buddy of mine who's out in California. Here's the unit ready to go, plugged in. Showed you the back a moment ago, and you can see where I had put the covers on. So we're going to boot it up, and once we're booted up, I'll show you what's going on. So in the meantime, I'll get my boat powered up so I can show you at least the engine data that was preloaded from the settings file. Okay, hit the accept. Now you notice that I have everything registered. What I did is I turned on all the units. I registered one device, and all 4 devices got registered for me. So here we are sitting there, and you'll see that we've got the clock, we've got our voltage supply. There's the engine data. If I turn on the boat to power it up, you can see now I start picking up the engine data. There's obviously no fuel mileage, no RPMs right now. I have the engine temperature, water pressure, oil tank level, trim level. This is my fuel gauge over here. So everything is set up the way I originally had my old live 12s. Okay. I also have put the map chip in. If you remember in the initial part of the video, I showed where I had the Navionics not in here. Now the Navionics chip is in this unit, so now I got it set up Navionics left and CMAP on board on the right hand side. So everything is ready to go, ready to rock. I used it last week out on the St. Lawrence River, and everything was looking good. You can see some of my settings here. I have my heading up, look ahead, things like that, all set. All that was predefined in that settings file. Again, it saved me a lot of time on doing all this full setup, especially all that engine data. I like to use that rather than my gauges down below. Okay, you can see the gauges are, some of them are hidden by the steering wheel. Some I have to look around for. It's just a whole lot easier to look at the screen. Okay. All right. Thanks. I appreciate you guys watching. If you get a chance, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and like the video. And also, if you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section below. And also, if you got any future videos you'd like to see on, Lowrance units, other brand units, just let me know. Also installation stuff. Thanks. Bye. I appreciate you guys watching this. Please like and subscribe the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.